Hey y'all, this is gonna be a test video because I'm not sure if you can hear the traffic outside because I'm right next to a road. So if you can hear the traffic in this video, let me know. Or if it drives you nuts, let me know. Like if you don't care, I don't know. If it drives you nuts, let me know and I will most likely film in my office. Only issue is that my office is not done yet, so I can't film in there. But this is my new place. If you didn't know, I moved, obviously. I still have to go back to my old house a couple more times just to like tie up a couple loose ends. But all my videos will be filmed here for a very long time because I don't want to move again because moving sucked. I'm going to give you guys a little tour of the place at the end of this video, but for now I am back and I have more of your Let's Not Meet stories that I'm super nervous to read. I picked out 3 stories. I'm going to try to have 2 videos this week because I think I have enough time to get them done and I don't want to mess up my schedule again. So you should be seeing this on Friday. You should. If you don't, I'm going to punch myself in the throat. My air just turned on. Ooh, is that going to be an issue? I'm gonna turn it off. But okay, we're gonna hop right in. So this first story says, 4 years of hell. Hey y'all, first time poster and first time user of Reddit. You can call me Cece. I've been an avid watcher for years now on your channel. First time dyeing your hair and Ouija videos. Yep, it's been a couple of years. I've debated for a long time on posting my stories as I think my life isn't that crazy or exciting, but this story entirely is and has left a deep scar and baggage for me. I also apologize if this is all over the place. There was a lot to remember. And the length as well, I ramble a lot. Names have been changed for privacy reasons, so here's the breakdown of the names. Cece is me, Ava a best friend at the time, and James my ex. Trigger warning, mention of SA, not talked about in detail, just mentioned. Violence, gaslighting, manipulation, yelling, mental health, emotional and mental abuse. Let's get to the storytelling. This started when I was a sophomore in high school. I'm in my mid-20s now. I was 16 when this started. It was edging close to the end of my sophomore year. I had just had a falling out with a toxic group of friends, and shit was starting to look up. I met my ex through a mutual friend, but it didn't leave a lasting impression on me. But this time, somehow, I got to chatting, and soon the flirting began. It was a quaint little gathering with Ava and me. I met James and had a one-on-one conversation. I was smitten. Being so young and naive at the time, he had my little heart doing flips in my chest. Fast forward, the night came and went. For that night, I was sleeping over at Ava's, so, as young high school girlies do, I was gushing over James and eventually, he slid into my DMs. My cat is using the litter box, which you can kind of see in the background, so if you're watching my cat poop, you're weird. We chatted back and forth and got to know one another. I want to point out that James was 2 years older than me. He was 19 at the time, I was 16. I have a late birthday, so I didn't turn 17 for a couple of months. Looking back on, it's making me uncomfortable even typing that out as we speak. It should have been a red flag with the age difference, but unfortunately, I was young and I didn't know any better. James and I chatted for a couple of weeks, and eventually we would start to date. This particular night, we were on FaceTime, talking away, and I decided to tell him of a very traumatizing event that happened to me. I only ever shared this with Ava at the time, and I wanted to be open and tell him about it. Not before a giant red flag that should have been flashing red signs that yelled, "Stay away," hovered above him. I'll never forget the feeling of dread and uneasiness I had in the pit of my stomach. I was bawling when I told him this. He hung up on my face. Once I was done telling him, I proceeded to bawl even more. I was hyperventilating at this point, wondering what I did wrong. I later found out from his roommate that he refused to date me because I was tainted. Yep, you heard me right. He refused to date me because I was SA'd and proceeded to call me tainted. This outlines how much of a piece of shit he was. I wish I were lying that I never dated him after that, but I would be lying. I would date James for the next 4 years. Those 4 years were the worst 4 years of my life. I stopped doing everything I enjoyed. Writing and reading ceased to exist. The once flamboyant and bubbly me began fading into darkness. James had anger problems. He would get mad at me over the smallest things. I once gave him the wrong directions from the GPS. I read it wrong. He begins to scream at me, calling me stupid and dumb for not being able to do the simplest things. We would get into screaming matches almost every week over the most minor stuff. One major thing is that he never agreed with my beliefs or morals. It was a constant argument that he would bring up and point out. It was like what mattered to me was not necessary. He would gaslight me into thinking that what mattered to me wasn't significant and not needed. This would be a constant thing, to the point that I started to believe that I was wrong, but in reality, what he was doing was wrong. I've had brightly colored hair for a good portion of my life, and at this time, I had burgundy hair. A male complimented my hair color, saying I looked like a fire truck, even though it was the opposite of a fire truck. There was no malicious intent with the comment. He wasn't being creepy, plus I was heading to work. It was the middle of the day with crowds of people all around me. I brought it up to James later that day, and when I say the pitch in his voice grew cold. Why didn't you tell him to fuck off? I made a weird expression. Why would I say that? He just complimented my hair. He wasn't being weird, I replied, confused. He was flirting with you. He wants to screw you. I stared blankly at the wall, my mind processing what James had said. I told him he was overreacting for nothing, and he proceeded to yell at me, saying that if a guy gives me a compliment of any sort, I should ask them to leave me alone. I was floored at his reaction. He reacted violently over a simple comment about my hair not being the first. He was trying to prove his point by bringing up past events that would only piss me off more. Another lovely add-on, that he loved to bring up shit from the past, and whatever the issue was, it had no significance to what he would pull out of his ass. James would always make comments about him having bizarre dreams of me cheating on him and proceeded to tell me. When I would confront him about not trusting me and say that I would never do that to a person, he would say that he trusted me and it was just dreams. I never believed him. He never put his hands on me in the cycle of mental and emotional abuse he put me through. Until one day, James and I and a couple of his friends went out for the night. I was in the parking lot with James. We were arguing about something, yelling at each other. I can't quite remember what it was about, but it got heated. I walked away, being done with everything, until his hand shot out and grabbed my wrist. His hold on my wrist was near bruising and a vice grip. He had no need to grab my wrist that tight, nor did he need to grab my wrist. I tore my wrist from his grasp, cold and loudly, "Don't fucking touch me." He tried to grab my wrist again while speaking loudly, not understanding clear words. And even louder, I said, "Don't fucking touch me." My blood was boiling and I saw red. I repeated, taking a couple of steps back. With everything I've mentioned thus far, I endured that during the 4 years. In my senior year, my mental health took a nosedive and my anxiety and depression started to appear. I had a tough time. I was at my lowest, and he didn't make it any better. He didn't understand the importance of mental health. He would make a comment when it was at its peak, like, "What happened to Cece? Where is she? I want her back." He told me when I was on the phone with him one day. And I believed him. I felt like shit and I was going through a hard time mentally, and I wasn't there for him, putting him through all this. Yes, I know, ridiculous that I felt that way. It was the 3rd year we were together and close to the end of the journey in high school. Now, that's a rough idea of the treatment I was getting from him and the significant events. Well, fast forward 2 years. I'm 20 now and a young woman. Towards the end of 2020, I started to break out of his hold on me. I discovered my passion for reading again, which created this white light back into my life. I started distancing myself from him, focusing on myself. My family even noticed a change in how I presented myself and how I acted. I was becoming myself again. I was beyond ecstatic. I was also coming to terms with my sexuality, me being bisexual. James was homophobic. He commented that if his kids were LGBTQ+, he would kick them out of his home. So that just added more fuel to the fire. With me questioning, I never brought it up, in fear of him judging me and belittling me for who I like. The month where it all came to head. This was December of 2019, going into January 2020. James and I would call every night and text 24/7. I stopped answering his calls, only picking up when I've been MIA for a couple of days, making an excuse that I fell asleep. That is so funny, because I love when people don't respond for days and they're like, "Sorry, I fell asleep." Like, no, you didn't. Shut the fuck up. Now, jumping into March of 2020, I spent the weekend at James for our anniversary before COVID started and lockdown began. Even before the lockdown, I lived with my grandparents and refused to go anywhere. James wanted to see me and asked me to come down. He lived in another city and it was a good hour to 2 hours away from me. I told him I didn't want to because of COVID and my grandparents. He replied, "You don't want to see me? You don't trust me?" That's what he got out of my response. I proceeded to tell him I didn't trust anyone right now and that he lived with roommates and I didn't want to risk it. He wasn't taking the pandemic seriously, which made me ill. It was before lockdown started and he didn't care in the slightest. One night I was reading on my laptop when he called me. I answered because I wasn't answering his calls or calling him. I greeted him like usual. I went back to reading and he asked me why I hadn't been calling him and why I'd been acting distant. I asked him if he wanted to know and he replied yes. He also made the earlier comment I mentioned previously about where Cece went. I brushed it off with the "I've been sleeping and tired, sorry," he didn't buy it. So the big event started. "I want to break up. I don't have any more feelings for you and I don't see a future with you." I went silent on the other end until he spoke. "Are you serious?" he asked. "Yes, I am." "What are the reasons?" "You are controlling. When it's a joint effort, do you want to raise any kids in the future your way and not any other way? You also mentioned if they're anything but straight, you will kick them out when I'm not okay with that. And there's nothing wrong with being LGBTQ+. You're racist and you don't respect me or my beliefs or my morals. What do you see me as?" "I see you as a friend." James then laughs and says, "Wow, you see me as a friend." "Yes, I do." James didn't believe any of my reasons were valid. He called me a liar, accusing me of not telling him about the actual causes, and asked me to tell him the real reasons. I just repeated myself, another 2 times. He asked me if I found him attractive anymore and blamed the reason I broke up with him because of the books I was reading. Because I lost attraction to him from the fictional males in the books I was reading. That left me laughing. The whole conversation was him being in denial, asking me to give him another chance and we could work this out. I heavily declined, saying I don't have any feelings for him and it would be wasting my time. I suggested we could still be friends. Yeah, no, that didn't work out. Not before he asked me if we could still have sex because it was good. I rejected that so fast and hard that I felt sick after. Anywho, 2 months after that, I just woke up from a nap and was still lethargic. I received multiple text messages from a number that I didn't have saved, with me asking to look outside on my front step with a link to some music video. I went downstairs thinking it was some prank when I asked a family member if James had come by and left something. I went into the kitchen and on my counter was a bouquet, roses, which are my favorite, and a shit ton of expensive chocolates, all my favorite flavors, with a double-sided typed out note, saying he missed me and wanted me to give him another chance. I ripped up the letter, threw it away, and stuffed my face with the chocolates. So to my crazy, manipulative, and jealous ex that I spent 4 years with, let's never meet again. I hate that man. I absolutely hate that man. That actually took me a really long time to read. I don't know if it was because it was a long story or if it's because I kept messing up. So I'm only going to read one more because I don't want this video to be too long because I am going to be showing you my place. So it's going to be like a half rainbow video. And that I know will take up a good amount of time. So I'm only going to read 2 stories. I think I said at the beginning I had 3. I did. But I'll save the other story for my next video. So this one says, my first Tinder date ruined frozen yogurt for me. Trigger warning, sexual harassment, and I can't say this word. I can't say the fucking word. Fetishization. No, literally it's not coming out. You know what I'm trying to say? Fetishization of trans people. I do not know how to say that word. Leave me alone. Fetishization. Hi, I've been watching your videos for a while now, and I finally decided I have to send you some of my stories. I don't remember if this was actually a Tinder date, but it was my first date from an online dating app, and at the time, I mostly used Tinder and OkCupid. My name is Nate, and I'm 25, and I live in a college town in Oregon. When I moved here at 19, I decided to try out dating apps because my partner broke up with me after moving here with them. Didn't have a lot of luck, so when a guy seemed interested in me, I kind of saw through the red flags. I'm sure we've all been desperate for attention at some point. This guy made me super nervous immediately because he was super tall, and I'm a really short guy, like 5'3" 3/4. I know I shouldn't be nervous around tall people, but I can't help it. I think it's a trauma thing. Anyways, his name was Wes. At first, I chalked up his invasive questions as innocent curiosity because we were just getting to know each other. Of course, he would ask questions. Everybody does. We decided to meet up for a frozen yogurt date because it's one of my favorite desserts, or it used to be. We decided it would be in a pretty popular froyo shop by the university. It was easy enough for him to get there because he was a university student and I lived really close by, and there would be plenty of people, so I was comfortable meeting him. I got to the froyo shop first, so I picked a table against a window and right in front of the entrance so he couldn't miss me, and so I had a quick escape. For the record, I decided to dress moderately nice for this date. I've never been on a cute froyo date with a stranger, and I was excited, so I got myself all cute or whatever. He showed up in his work clothes, clunky, dirty boots, jeans with dirt on the knees, which I didn't mind, but it was a pretty stark difference from my outfit. We greet each other, I'm flustered and embarrassing like I always am, and we go to get the froyo. He keeps making me walk in front. I thought maybe he was trying to be charming with the after you stuff, but once we sat down, I realized he was just staring at my ass the whole time. I wouldn't have assumed that, but once we were eating and talking, the conversation took a shift. We could have talked about anything because we didn't know each other hardly at all. It took maybe 3 minutes for this fucker to start making gross sexual comments about me, and this was not a hookup. He started vulgarly telling me about what he thought of my body, and I got severely uncomfortable. It was obvious that I was uncomfortable, and he thought it was really funny. He kept talking about how he was a sociology major or some shit, and how he was so good at reading people in body language. I would unlock and relock and unlock my phone because I was so anxious that I couldn't stop fidgeting. He made fun of me for it and kept making jokes that were definitely not funny, asking things like, "What if I just take your phone from you, huh? Then what will you fidget with?" and telling me how I should make eye contact with him. I have a really hard time making eye contact because I have autism. I know it doesn't seem like a lot. Yes, it does. This is a lot. Wait, that's already I would leave. I would fucking leave. I know this doesn't seem like a lot yet, and I guess it's not, but it felt really threatening considering my phone was my safe object in that situation and my only way to get a hold of my roommates if I needed an out of the situation. Once I was uncomfortable, he began telling me I should strip for him, right there in front of the froyo shop. As a 19-year-old, I had pretty much no experience having sexual conversations with people who were interested in me that I wasn't actively dating, and this freaked me out. I started texting my roommates/best friends to let them know the date was going horribly and I would be home soon. But then he did take my phone. He reached across the table with his stupid long tall people arms and slid it back to himself. He kept making gross comments about my body, emphasizing how little it was, which was super uncomfortable. And it definitely started to really feel like he was only on this date with me because he had never been with a trans guy before and wanted to sexualize me. It was really difficult to end the date because he had my phone and because he wouldn't stop saying gross things. Eventually, I told him my roommates would be expecting me back soon and that it was getting late, so I should head home. I was so relieved when he gave me my phone back, but the relief didn't last long as he walked me out of the shop and into the rain. "Do you need a ride home?" he asked, to which I politely declined. He was insistent, however, asking if I was sure since it was raining. I was sure. I had a terrible sinking feeling in my stomach, and I'm used to the Oregon weather. I'm very used to rain and walking in it. I was wearing boots and a hood and everything. Told him I would be fine and that I didn't live far at all. "Oh, come on," he'd continue, gripping my arm and pulling me towards the street where a bunch of cars were already parked. "My car is blue." Okay, I thought, like, good for you. I'm not getting in the car with a stranger. My mother would be so proud. I barely remember what he said at this point, but I swear I remember him mentioning going back to his place. I was terrified. Nobody on the entire street was paying any attention to us, and he was at least twice my size. He could have easily gotten me into the car. I gave him a hasty answer of, "Absolutely not, I'll text you when I get home," and I booked it in the opposite direction. I swear I saw his car pull out and head my way, even though I'm fairly certain the place he talked about living was in the opposite direction. Lucky for me, I had to walk through the university and a cemetery to get home, and the cars couldn't go the way I was going. I had a panic attack the whole way home anyways, constantly looking around for his dumb blue car. I did not go to that froyo place or any froyo place for years until I met my last partner. We're broken up now, but we're best friends. Stop going to the bathroom while I'm filming. We're broken up now, but we're best friends, and now I can finally eat froyo in peace. But it still haunts me to think about what might have happened if I'd let him drive me home that night. To the guy who ruined froyo for me for years and requested I strip for you in a frozen yogurt shop, let's not ever meet again. Dude, I am there's something about Tinder stories that just are they're their own genre of horror stories, because I can't imagine going through that. I can't, because I would want to leave the second I got there. Because, okay, here's my thing. When I'm talking to someone, meeting someone for the first time, I guess, I ask a lot of really invasive questions because I think it's a really good way to get to know somebody right off the bat, to know if you even want to invest time in them. And so I understand you looking past that as a red flag, because I mean, it could 100% be a red flag, but I'm also a very open person. I like to tell people everything about my life. I have no filter. You guys know this. I tell you everything. And so I totally understand you looking past that as a red flag, because I mean, I do the same thing. But the second you got there and the conversation immediately just starts being about you and your body and whatever, I would instantly be like, I have to go. And the thing is, I wouldn't though. I don't know what my cats are doing, but they're being very loud. I don't know what they're doing. I'm gonna go jet. My thing is though, is that I wouldn't leave. And there's no part of me that would be able to actually get the courage to be like, I actually have to go. Or to tell them, you're making me uncomfortable, I need to leave. I am not the type of person. I would just suffer through it and then ghost them. That's my thing. But I'm sorry that you went through that. I'm really sorry about that. It's terrible. Both of these stories are just I'm sorry that you had to go through this, and especially 4 years of something. Even one date is too much for me. But that is all I'm gonna read for now. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you have any other stories you want to share with me or the community, I will have my subreddit linked down below. I am going to end this video, and then we're gonna get into the rambling and the little mini house tour. It's not completely done yet, just a warning, so I'll probably do an update when I get the rest of my furniture, because I'm missing a couple things. But I'm gonna go. I love you guys. We'll see you in the next one. Bye. So I'm trying to decide if I should go into the rambling before or after I show you, because I think I'm gonna ramble before. I have a lot to ramble about. So I moved on Monday. You're seeing this probably on Friday. I moved on Monday. On Sunday, so I packed a lot of my stuff prematurely because I thought I was moving last week. And so I packed a lot of my stuff prematurely, and I left my kitchen and my bathroom because I thought I kind of need those things. And it should be fairly easy to pack them up. You know, my kitchen shouldn't take very long. My bathroom really shouldn't take very long. I'm going to be getting rid of a lot of stuff. Oh my God. Sunday, I woke up at 7 a.m. I was packing until 6 p.m. I was miserable, because the other days I would spend 2 hours max packing, and I would take a break in between, whatever. Oh my God, I was packing for so long, and I had no choice because I was moving the next day, so I had to finish it all. Oh my God, it was miserable. So then Monday, we start moving everything. My dad shows up at my house. I have to lock the cats in a bedroom, and they're shitting themselves, dude. And okay, so I got gabapentin for NAR. It's an anxiety medication, because if you don't remember, last time when I moved into my house, NAR had to go to the emergency vet because he got a blockage he couldn't pee because he was so scared and so stressed. And I was really nervous that would happen again. And so I had melatonin for NAR and, I had melatonin for Rumble and Weems, and I had gabapentin for NAR. And so I gave NAR the gabapentin that morning. I gave the other 2 cats some melatonin just to like chill them out. But I'm not kidding, when I shut the door, their screams were like piercing, like they were so scared because there wasn't really nowhere to hide because I had packed up everything, you know, and I couldn't put their cat condo in there because I had to move the cat condo. And so I put their carriers in there and put them backwards, so if like they wanted to hide somewhere, they could hide in the carrier. But like as soon as my dad came in the house, I mean, they had nowhere to run, and they were just locked in a bedroom. So they were screaming. Oh my God, my heart broke instantly, and I wanted to cry so bad. And they're fine. Like I know that it's like there's nothing I could do about it, and they're fine now. Nar gets lost, and then he starts screaming, so I have to go find him. It's not in a big place. So it was really heartbreaking in general, and I don't know. So my dad gets there because my dad moved me, and his friend gets there, and they were like, "You have a lot of stuff," and I was like, "Yes, I know, I have a lot of stuff." And so they were like, "Well, fuck." So we had to do 2 trips, and I moved 45 minutes away, so it was a long day. And so then moving the cats was actually not that bad. Normally, like when I take them to the vet, they scream the whole way there, but I think because they were all like on meds, they were pretty quiet on the car ride. It was a 45-minute drive. Weems has done 6 hours before, so like he was the loudest. Honestly, Weems was the loudest. He just hates being locked up. They all do. So we get here, and I have to lock them in a bedroom because my dad's not done moving stuff, but we didn't want to have to take a 3rd trip to my house because it's so far away. So we locked the cats in my bedroom because all my furniture was already in there. My dad and his friend like moved the rest of the stuff. There wasn't that much on our 2nd trip. And then the cats kind of like, they slowly started to come out. You know, they were obviously very nervous. Nar hid under the bed for a couple of hours, and I was really nervous because I was like, it's gonna happen again. Like, it's not a big deal if it does. You know, I don't mind paying for him to go to the vet. That it wasn't about the money. I just didn't want him to like be stressed. I hate him. I don't know. Rumble was the most brave. He came right out and was like walking around. And when I first, dude, on Monday, this place was a fucking shit show. Boxes literally everywhere. It was like a maze to get through. Rumble's probably like, where the fuck did you bring me? So he's like weaving in and out of boxes and climbing over bags and like whatever. But Rumble came out and looked around. Weems was like, he would come out for like a little bit, then he would go back to the bedroom. That was like their safe place, was my bedroom. Nar hid under the bed for a while. My sister ended up coming over to try and get him to come out because he knows my sister. And she ended up leaving after maybe like a couple hours, maybe like an hour or 2. And then after she left, actually, Nar came out and explored all by himself. I was super proud of him. And yeah, they've been fine. I went to bed pretty early on Monday. And I remember I woke up like every hour because I was like waiting for Nar to use the bathroom. Also, Rumble's playing with tape. So if you hear tape, sorry, if you hear like tape crinkling, whatever, that's Rumble. I still have some boxes left around. I woke up at like, I don't know, maybe a little bit after I fell asleep, and Nar was in the litter box, and I was like, yes! I was like, fuck yeah, because I was so scared he wouldn't go to the bathroom. And so we've had no issues. They're pretty much used to the place now. It's Wednesday when I'm filming this, so they've been here for like 2 days. They're pretty good. I mean, honestly, they're fine. But that's my whole story. The moving process was not terrible. It was really hot. I'm in Arizona. It was really hot. But it wasn't that bad. It really wasn't. Now I'm going to show you the place, but it's going to be, it's not done. My dining room, which you can't see right now, but it's right in front of me, just has like stuff I'm donating and boxes I need to bring to my house because I have to get like my food and stuff because I left my fridge. And then other stuff that I just don't have room for that I'm going to figure out if I want to donate it or keep it or whatever. And then my office is not completely done because I need to get a couch for my office that turns into a bed because I don't have a guest room anymore. And there's some like loose, just random shit in there. So yeah, I'm going to take you off the tripod. I don't know what you can see right now. Okay, so you pretty much already saw my living room, but okay, so here's my front door. When you walk in, I have this cute little thing. So this was in my other house, like right next to my front door as well. And then here's my TV and my entertainment center. So I liked the layout because it was like, oh, that's ugly over there. It's really ugly. I liked the layout of this because it was different, but it's a little awkward because the couch is like over here and the TV is over here, but it's fine. You can see the TV just fine. So then this is like an overview of my little living room area. And then my fireplace, and then my dining room, which is not, this is my tripod. That's where I was just filming. Here's my dining room that'll have, I ordered what the fuck is wrong with me? I ordered the dining room set. It'll be here next week, and so hopefully I'll get that cleared out, whatever. Here's my kitchen, and there's Weems. I love this kitchen. I like how open it is. Here's Mr. Weems, Mr. Weems. Okay, Okay, sorry, there's something actually wrong with me. Over here, this is my office. So I have my computer set up, my little bookshelf, and then over here is not done yet. I got my porg. He's bamboo. Then there's 2 closets, thank God, because I have a lot of stuff to store. And then here is guest bathroom number 1. Let me turn the light on. Oh, I said guest bathroom number 1 as if there's like multiple guest bathrooms. This is the guest bathroom. It's beautiful. I know I had to open the curtain because Rumble got stuck in the bathtub. But yeah, look, it says take a seat. Okay, and then here's like a little closet. And then here's my bedroom. I did not make my bed. Oh, fuck. I was gonna make my bed to make this like cute and aesthetic. But I did not make my bed. I also have to turn the light on, but I have to do it like this. Oh, okay. Oh, I just fell. So this is my bedroom. It's so beautiful. I did not hang my TV because I don't want to. And then here's my bathroom. My closet is a disaster. I have so many shoes. My closet is a disaster. I have to donate. That's so bad. And then here is this out of the bathroom. Sorry, there's something actually wrong with me. But yeah, that's the place, Gumbies. That's the place. That's the whole place. I hope you enjoyed. Now I'm gonna sit on the floor because I don't feel like putting you back on my tripod. I need the lighting to be better though. Okay, we'll do that. Woo! Okay, that's the end of my apartment tour. Hello, Mr. Weems. Hope you guys enjoyed. I'll show you again when it's like completely done because it's not completely done yet, and I'll make my bed next time. This is just like a little rough draft. A little bit of a rough draft. I'm really out of breath from walking around my 2-bedroom apartment. Out of shape. But I hope you guys enjoyed. I'm sorry if the stories are super short. It took me like almost 20 minutes to film the first story, so I can't imagine that it'll be that short. But I figured this part would probably take a while, so whatever. But I'm gonna go because my sister called me while I was filming, and I'm gonna call her back, and I'm also really hungry. I got the new Starbucks chicken sandwich, the chicken breakfast sandwich this morning. Disgusting. Don't get it. It was so fucking gross. It like, I don't know what it was. It was so bad. I threw it away, so I'm hungry. You know what's great though? Uber Eats takes like 10 minutes to get here. I used to have to wait like an hour, over an hour to get food where I used to live because I lived in the middle of nowhere. 10 minutes, 10, 15 minutes. It's amazing. But I'm gonna go, and I'm sweating really bad because I turned my air off. I love you. Bye. See ya.